exercise, but I walk my dog. And like he said, I get harassed. I get like pushing me in the ditch. And I'm not going in the ditch, but I'm gonna carry a bat. And if the car gets close to me, I'm gonna bang it. I can't carry a gun because I've been through hell.
I understand. Yes, ma'am.
Have we had any, Miss Davis lives across the street from us, and there were several times that there was, and she did call about suspected break-ins into her attic and stuff. Have you had any other reports about stuff like that?
None other than the ones we shared
And this
with
was
you.
a while back that
I
she
did. Last fall I was burglarized. I live on KG2 Road.
We aware of that?
Yeah, so I went outside with a gun.
Right.
And if I'd have been smart, I'd have grabbed a different one. We'd have a different
Yeah, we did have some burglaries a year or two ago on that River Road corner. And we do have a lot of turnarounds at Big Cajun and things, so we do have migrant people coming in and out along the main road. Yes?
You said they stole my rifle.
Were you truck blocked?
Why don't we
I broke the glass. You got it. Yes, ma'am.
I can understand the four-wheelers. There's a difference between the use and the abuse. I don't have a problem with the use of the four-wheelers. I do have a problem with the abuse of it. But my biggest issue for being here tonight is the rumors of drugs. I don't like the fact that I have children who are living in this neighborhood, and there are supposedly houses where, I don't know, crack houses and people selling drugs out of their houses, and too many teenagers, too many foreign individuals coming into our neighborhood, speeding around in the neighborhood. You know, I want that addressed, because to me, a crack house blowing up or meth lab blowing up, you know, that's not cool.
I understand.
That's why I'm here tonight.
While we're talking about the stealing in October, and we had a deputy that did come out, so I'm assuming that they have a report, but we had, my son's four-wheeler was stolen out of the yard.
Wow.
And after all, you know, I don't really know a whole lot of people here, but I was mentioning it, you know, I've heard different people. You had something stolen?
No, someone came into my yard and asked, did you want to hire anybody for yard work? Well, the very next day,
Yeah.
they stole her.
Right, so that's right.
It's correlated. There was scope in the neighborhood.
He came in my yard, I forgot that part. I had gotten in a wreck. My vehicle was totaled, my husband brought me home, and then he left. So it appeared that nobody was home. So I was laying down taking a nap, and I heard somebody pull up. I took my time to get into the door, and I opened the door, and there's this guy in this old car just standing there looking around. I said, "Can I help you?" He said, "Yeah, we were just wondering if you needed your grass cut." My grass, it was like the end of October. No. We didn't really have grass. And we have 3.5 acres. I mean, it just wasn't to where you're going to knock on the door thinking that we need that service. The next night, my four-wheeler was missing.
When you have high traffic of non-community members, they're not just there to do what they're going to do wherever they're going. They're watching and perusing people's belongings to determine what they can steal.
She had a hand up. Ma'am.
Vandalism from my mailbox. I'm on my third mailbox. They ran over the first one with a nice one. I mean, they had that truck.
How many people with that mailbox have the problem?
The second last two.
You don't really have to fix it back up.
Hold up a second.
One question I want to ask you, ma'am. I'm going to ask you talk to you. Are you going to enforce the law on the four-wheelers and the speed?
I'm fixing to discuss that.
Huh?
I'm fixing to talk about that.
All right. In other words, are you going to enforce the law?
What kind of question is that to ask me? Yes, I'm going to enforce the law. I'm just telling you what I do. You got to give me the opportunity.
Is there a law,
I'm not going to do my job.
against riding four-wheelers in fast transportation?
You're aware of that law, and it's against the law. I agree. Go ahead.
A couple things, Sheriff. First of all, I'm trying to take a few notes so I can take some of this home with me.
You better type fast.
It's unusual shorthand. The issues, and I may not have captured everything, but the issues that I'm hearing from the loud noise, property destruction, indecent vulgar behavior, harassment, excessive speed, crack houses, suspicious persons, Is there anything on that list that your deputies would not address if called?
They would address them all.
And what I'm hearing here, and please, I'm not trying to be critical, but I'm hearing a lot of these things come up, but I'm getting the general impression that your agency, is not aware of each and every transgression. Is that fair, or do you have are all these transgressions reported?
We're pretty much aware that we have problems all over the parish and all over the country for that matter. But in particular, from the way I got the information about this meeting tonight, there was specific burglaries and break-ins and thefts that were going on that was not being reported to us. My mission, my objective here was to talk to the community to get a better understanding of that if it's not reported, we can't act upon it. We're prepared and ready to do what we're supposed to do, but we got to know. And it doesn't hurt to have community meetings. You know, a lot of times you have small towns that incorporated years ago. Waterloo is not incorporated, so it's a chance for everybody to meet and just talk about shared experiences. I don't know if y'all ever meet like this, or this is the first time. You know, this is, whether you agree or disagree with what's going on, it's good that everybody's sitting down in the same building talking about your community, because you all got a dog in the fight, and that's important. Mr. Vosberg, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to address a lot of what everyone's talking about here. First thing, thank you, Sheriff, and some of you deputies for coming out. I moved back to this area probably about a year and a half ago. I grew up here. I grew up riding the streets of Waterloo on four-wheel. I grew up cutting up, but I grew up with respect and dignity for my neighbors and other people that I should happen to encounter. And what I'm hearing is a lack of that. And kind of the elephant in the room here is a lot of you are talking about specific individuals. You have specific knowledge, specific instances of things that are occurring to you directly, to your spouse, to your children, etc. And one of the things that the sheriff has maybe not made it so clear as to state, these are all crimes that y'all are describing. Some of them serious crimes, some of them, minor crimes. But the sheriff's office with limited resources, how many deputies, just ballpark, do you have on patrol on a Tuesday night?
4
throughout the parish.
4.
2 north end, 2 south.
1 in the north, 1 in the south, and 2 in New Roads and Foster River.
Porcupine Parish is very large. We have a lot of miles of roads. The deputies are doing a lot of things to protect us.
Serving the papers for the district court, making sure that all arrest warrants are being issued and served and executed, doing the information that we have where we're active undercover operations. We just did one in Ventress where we actually caught somebody and was buying off of them for a couple of weeks until we could make our case to bring it to court. Law enforcement is so technical now. It takes a lot to make a case and get it to the courtroom and to get it prosecuted. And it's just a process we have to go through, and it takes time, money, and energy. And thank you.
And you have limited resources. So the overall theme is, and the sheriff hoping with it, if you have a problem or a perceived problem, if you got a dent in your mailbox that wasn't there the night before, call 911. The only way these resources are going to get allocated to this area, to our neighborhood, is by data. It's a data-driven society. And Sheriff, please correct me if I'm saying anything wrong.
That's why we went to the computer-aided dispatch, so we can indicate crime, when the burglaries are occurring, where the burglaries are occurring, what time they're occurring, and that deputy needs to be on patrol in that area at that particular time to do the best that he can to try and prevent it.
And this information that you report is reported. It's associated with an address, associated with a time, with an individual who's calling. That's why they ask you a lot of general questions that you may seem silly or not important when you answer them, but
very important.
It's very important to getting down to a crime. If 50 people call in a month's time and complain about a white Ford pickup truck doing certain activities at certain times, that data can be analyzed, and the police department can say, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at
parish throughout. I'm trying to work with the Polish jury to beef up the ordinances to enforce that and use our constables and JPs to engage them in a function in the parish to enforce that with littering and a few of the other things to try and help us.
Because I'm worried, I'm not
So
gonna
who
get
you
what
report
my,
that to? You or the?
well, I tried reporting
I'll
it,
take
it
it.
hadn't done me any
Oh.
good. I've called my police jury member 3 times. I wrote a letter to John Wayne Jewell. He runs away from me at mass when he sees me. I have, you know, I've talked to my neighbors. Now, we don't have the Civic Association up and going still, and I don't know for those of you that are out here if someone wants to take it and run with it, but we did a lot of good. You know, there was a group home, and I'm certainly wanted to come out here and house men that were mental and criminal.
But this is why I applaud whoever. You know, you might think, oh boy, the sheriff, and he'll never come back to Waterloo again. That's not true. The only way you're going to correct a problem is to address it. The only way you're going to make things better is if you work together. You're not going to agree on everything, and that's what a democracy is. But I will say this, having an association, having a neighborhood watch, sitting here together and understanding where we are and what we want to accomplish here, you know, that's what this is all about. For example, I can tell you right now, I want to introduce my staff before we go much further. These are the guys that make the difference when the rubber meets the road. You got Captain Brett Roblard, who's in charge of detectives, Lieutenant Richard Torres. Come on out. I'm going to let them take over for a few minutes. This is Brett Roblard and Richard Torres that has our criminal investigative group. Captain Adrian Slaughter and Lieutenant Donnell Francois, who's here with the patrol.
Still can't see y'all.
Yeah, come on over here. And these are the guys that determine patrols, investigating crimes when it's kicked over to the detective bureau, and to make sure that your neighborhoods are safe and whatever we have to do. Here's where we are. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I feel from the feedback I have that this is a good mixture of the community and a good participation. Would y'all say this is pretty much over 50% of the turnout of the people that live here? I would say at least, because what we have, about 150, 160 people living in this north and south. So this is a good representation. And from what I hear, y'all would be okay with us increasing our patrol in the neighborhood. And we're going to actually enforce whatever laws that we find in violation. So before we go any further, I want you to understand what that means. No golf carts, no four-wheelers. Go ahead.
I've been back here about 18 years, and yeah, you do have some problem kids back here. Sounds like we know who they are, okay? But there's a lot of good kids, okay? I'm outside a lot. I see kids on the road riding four-wheelers, and they're riding it correctly. A couple times a month, I enjoy taking my dog a couple court out on weekends to ride, okay? Just kind of cruise around. I don't think we should punish the whole neighborhood if we know what the problem is at. There's been kids passing in front of my house fast, and I waved them down and asked them to slow down.
But the law doesn't, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree with it.
That's why I don't think, you giving us the option right now, sound like, and I don't think we need to.
What I'm saying is that the law is not optional. You either have it or you don't. I don't have the choice. I don't make these laws up. I should have brought Major and Rick Ward over here, because they're the ones that make the laws up. I don't have my job is not to make them up or to decide where the line is. My job is to decide you either got it or you ain't got it. And if you're asking me to come in and do what we have to do, we're going to do it. But I can't hold one person to this standard and another person to that one. And because grandmother here is driving a grandkid, she's exempt. You know, she might be the first one to do.
I disagree, Sheriff. What? You do have discretion as a law enforcement officer. And if you see a 12-year-old child riding a four-wheeler at 5 miles an hour, 10, 15 miles an hour, or you see someone going 80, driving reckless, that's the difference.
No, it ain't. Not in the eyes of the law. But I do have somebody here that is an attorney. In fact, she is recently retired. I'm so glad to see her. Bad guy, much to figure out. I just passed an 8 Clotilde's front yard.